The intergalactic market was loud and crowded. Machines hummed. Aliens shouted in strange tongues. Bright lights flickered above endless rows of stalls. But in the farthest corner, where no one wanted to go, was the market of lost creatures. Smelled like rust and old blood. Cages stacked on cages held broken. Forgotten animals from across the galaxy. Some hissed, some wept, and in one small cage, barely big enough for its body, lay a dying dragon. Its wings were torn. Its scales were dull. Its breath was slow, each one weaker than the last. People walked past it without looking. A large alien barked a laugh, pointing at it. One credit for this trash, might as well throw it into the void. The shopkeeper, an old gray-skinned merchant with yellow eyes, nodded double quotes. "No one wants the last of a dead race," he said. Then a voice came from the crowd. "I'll take it." The laughter stopped. Everyone turned. It was a human girl, young, dusty brown boots, torn jacket, and wild black hair tied behind her neck. Her name was Lyra. She stepped forward and placed a single glowing credit coin on the stall's table. The merchant stared at her. "You're serious?" Lyra nodded. "I want the dragon." "Are you mad?" A tall alien sneered. "That thing can't even breathe fire." Another voice laughed. "Might burn your ship while dying." The crowd roared with laughter. But Lyra didn't smile. She knelt. Near the cage, the dragon opened one eye. It was red, like fading embers. "I'm not here to laugh at you," Lyra whispered. "I'm here to save you." The dragon blinked Dot, and just for a second, its eyes sparked like old fire trying to live. Again, Dot the merchant chuckled. "It's yours, girl, but don't come crying when it dies." Lyra opened the cage. The dragon tried to lift its head, but fell back. It was so weak, she gently placed her hands beneath its head and helped it out. It didn't resist. She carried it to her small ship, hidden between metal towers in Dock 12. Ship, the Emberlight, was old, just like the dragon, but it was home. She laid the dragon on a warm pad inside her. Medbay, its body trembled. Its breath was shallow. She gave it healing serum. It hissed softly, but didn't stop her. She whispered softly, "I don't know why I chose you." She paused, staring into its tired eyes. "But something told me you're more than what they see." Night came fast. The stars outside blinked like cold watchers in the dark. Lyra sat beside the dragon, reading old tech manuals. Suddenly, the ship shook. Slightly at first, then stronger. Lights flickered. Alarms didn't sound, but something moved. Inside, Lyra stood up. Her boots hit the floor with a soft metallic thud. The dragon was still lying still, but something had changed. A symbol was glowing on its chest. It pulsed red and gold. Lyra stepped closer. "Are you okay?" The dragon opened its eyes. The fire inside was stronger now. Then, above its chest, a hologram appeared. Glowing letters formed strange shapes and then turned into human language. Flamekeeper detected. Memory protocol begin. A blast of light filled the room, and Lyra wasn't inside her ship anymore. She stood on a burning field. Fire rained from the sky. Dragons soared above, breathing golden flames at metal ships. War was everywhere. Beside her stood another human, a warrior in armor. A dragon stood behind him, massive and proud. And then, everything froze. A voice whispered through the air. "You were born of the flame. The blood remembers." The light vanished. Lyra was back in the medbay, sweating, heart pounding. The dragon was watching her. "You showed me something," she whispered. The dragon didn't speak. It just closed its eyes again. But Lyra knew. Something ancient had been awakened. She stared at the glowing symbol on its chest. It looked like a flame, and a star combined. Then her datapad buzzed. An unknown signal was pinging her ship. Her hands trembled. She answered. A low, robotic voice came through. "The last flame has been claimed. Prepare for retrieval." Then the line went dead. Lyra stared. At the screen, someone knew Dot. Someone wanted the dragon, and they were coming. She looked at the sleeping creature. "I won't let them take you," she said softly. She turned off her ship's beacon, darkened all lights, locked every hatch outside. The stars continued to shine. But inside, something old and powerful had returned, and it was only the beginning. The dragon didn't move the next morning. Its breathing was still slow, but the symbol on its chest continued to glow from it. pulsing like a heartbeat. Lyra sat quietly beside it, watching the flickering light. She hadn't slept, not after the vision. She kept thinking about the burning sky, the dragons, the warrior, and the voice. You were born of the flame. She didn't know what it meant. She didn't know why the dragon had shown her that memory, but she felt it deep inside. This wasn't just an animal. This dragon knew her, and it had chosen her. The ship stayed dark. Lyra kept the systems quiet, trying to hide, but in space, secrets don't stay hidden for long. Her radar pinged faint at first. Then again, something was moving in the nearby zone, a ship. She turned the scanner on low-power mode. It showed a shape in the distance, small, fast, tracking. Her, Lyra whispered to herself. They found me. She looked at the dragon. I need to move you. She wrapped the dragon gently in thermal blankets and carried it to the ship's hidden storage chamber under the floor. The dragon made a soft growling noise but didn't resist. She placed a soft cloth under its head and closed the hatch. Then she went to the cockpit. The radar blinked red. They were close. Now, too close. She activated her engines. Low burn, only no lights, no jump drive, don't jump drift. But the other ship moved fast. Too fast her comms crackled. A deep, cold voice came through. This is the Guild of Ash. Surrender the Flamekeeper and the dragon. Lyra said nothing. Her hands gripped the flight stick. We will not ask again. A second later, the first blast hit. The ember light shook violently. Sparks flew from a console. Lyra screamed. Smoke filled the cockpit. She flipped the ship hard left, dodging the next blast. The old engine groaned, but it held. She flew through a nearby asteroid field, diving between rocks. The other ship followed, firing red plasma bolts. The ember light took another hit. Panels exploded. The radar died. Then silence. Lyra held her breath. She waited. The enemy ship circled, searching, but they couldn't see her, not here, not in the dark. She switched. Off everything. Total blackout. The other ship passed. Gone for now. Lyra exhaled slowly. Her fingers shook. She climbed down to the hidden chamber. The dragon was awake. Eyes glowed faintly. You saved me, she whispered. The dragon blinked slowly. I think they want you, but I won't give you to them. Then suddenly the dragon opened its mouth and it spoke. The voice was deep, rough, ancient, double quotes, you, ... are her blood. Lyra froze. What? The dragon lifted its head slowly. Its voice was weak, but steady. I remember the flame. I remember your kind. You are Flamekeeper. What is that? She asked. The dragon stared at her. You were born to awaken me, to carry the last fire. Lyra stepped back. No, I'm just a girl, a scavenger. I fix broken ships. I'm not she. Stopped. Memories came back. Her father telling her bedtime stories about dragons that lived among stars, her mother whispering about the bloodline, and that one time when Lyra was 7 and her hands lit up with tiny sparks. When she was angry, her parents had never explained it. Now she understood why. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, she said softly. The dragon breathed slowly. Help me remember. Help me live. Then the fire will return. What's your name? The dragon closed its eyes. I don't remember. Silence filled the chamber. Then Lyra said, until you do, I'll call you Ashwing. The dragon's eye opened. A small spark flickered inside. Ashwing, it repeated. That night, Lyra couldn't sleep. She repaired the engine, cleaned the cockpit, checked the outer hull. She tried to ignore the fear. Growing inside her, what if the guild came back? What if they brought more ships? She didn't have weapons, she didn't have a plan, just a half-dead dragon and a secret name. And then again the ship shook. But this time, it wasn't a missile. It was coming from the inside. She ran to the hidden chamber. Ashwing was glowing. Firelight danced across its scales. Its body lifted into the air. It roared. A deep, echoing roar that shook the walls, and from its mouth, a thin stream of golden fire shot upward. Lyra gasped. Ashwing fell back down, exhausted. But it had breathed fire. Real fire. The symbol on its chest burned brighter than ever. A wave of warmth passed through Lyra's body. She felt her blood heat up her fingertips, glowed for a second just like when she was a child. Then the Ship lights came back on. A soft hum returned to the floor, and a new message appeared on the cockpit screen. Dragon Awakening, 22% complete. She stared at the message. "What does that mean?" she whispered. Ashwing answered with a whisper. "The fire is returning." Slowly. Lyra touched the symbol on its chest. It didn't burn her. It felt warm, safe. "I won't let them take you," she said. Ashwing's voice rumbled. "They will come, many, strong, evil." Lyra stood tall. "Then let them come. I'll be ready." Ashwing looked at her. "You are braver than most." Lyra smiled. "Maybe. Or maybe I'm just too stubborn." The dragon closed its eyes again, and Lyra sat beside it, watching the stars outside her small ship. Somewhere out there, powerful enemies were searching for her. Somewhere out there, a war was beginning. But here, in this moment, there was fire again, and she would protect it, no matter what. 3 days passed. Ashwing slept most of the time. His body healed slowly. The wounds on his wings closed. His scales started to shine again just a little. But the fire inside him was still weak. Lyra watched over him. She spoke to him, told him stories, shared food, and in return, Ashwing taught her strange old words, words of dragons, words of power. Sitting near the engine, her fingers sometimes glowed when she spoke, but her mind was not at peace. She kept thinking about the Guild of needed help. She needed to know why a dying dragon was worth so much. Lyra powered up her ship's hidden comms line. It was old, encrypted, and slow, but safe. She typed a message, .2. Jock's orbit subject, "I need info text. Got something rare? Dangerous? People hunting me. Dragon-related flamekeeper." She sent it. Then waited. 2 hours later, the reply came. From Jock's orbit subject, "Your crazy text. Where are you?" That's a death sentence. "We need to meet. I'll send location. Don't bring the dragon to open air. They have eyes." Always, Lyra sighed. Of course, Jock's would overreact. He was a tech smuggler and data thief. He believed in ghosts. The location came through a small, quiet moon near planet 2VOR, mostly empty, safe. She changed course. Ashwing didn't wake up until they... Lyra smiled. "You look better." Ashwing blinked. "I dreamed of fire." "That sounds like a good dream." She jumped into the cockpit. 3 red blips blinked on her scanner. They were flying in a wide arc. Slow, searching. "They're hunting again." Lyra looked at the scanner. 3 ships. 1 ember light. No weapons, no chance in a fight. She powered down everything. No signal, no light. "We wait." It passed. The blips turned and flew away. Gone. Lyra sat back, heart racing. "We can't hide forever," she said. Ashwing's voice was low. "Then we stop running." Grew here. A few broken structures sat under a cracked dome. Old mining ruins. Jock's was already waiting. He wore a long coat, heavy boots, and a helmet with glowing green eyes. He walked slowly toward the ship. Lyra opened the hatch, still wearing that ugly thing. "I said I had warnings." Jock's looked past her. His smile vanished. "Is that the dragon?" Ashwing stood behind her, tall now, still thin, still weak, but his eyes burned bright. JAX stepped back. "I thought they were extinct." "They are," Ashwing said. JAX jumped. "It talks." Lyra nodded. "He remembers me, my family." "Not yet." He pulled out a device and showed her a symbol. A flame inside a star. "Your bloodline was one of the last to ride dragons." Ashwing told me some of that. Jock's continued. "Long ago, helped protect the galaxy. Until they were betrayed, the dragons were hunted. Most were killed. Your family went into hiding. Old power, the kind that can control stars. And people wanted it." Lyra looked at Ashwing. He was silent. "You were there. They believe it can control time, space, maybe even life." Lyra frowned, like the Guild of Ash. Jock's nodded. "They believe dragons are weapons, and they think flamekeepers are keys." "What do they want with me?" "To use you," he said, "to control Ashwing, or worse, to unlock the flame vault." Lyra shook her head. "What's the flame vault? Can open it?" Ashwing spoke, "I remember. The vault, a place of last hope, a place of power." Jock's looked nervous. "If they find it..." Lyra felt her chest tighten. "This is bigger than I thought." Jox nodded. Much bigger. Suddenly, a loud boom echoed across the moon's surface. The sky lit up red. Jox looked up. No, he whispered. A ship broke through the clouds. Black, fast, no markings. The guild had found them. Lyra turned to Ashwing. Can you fly? Ashwing growled. Enough to run, not enough to fight. Jox ran toward the ruins. I have a tunnel. This way. They followed him behind them. The ship landed. Doors opened. Dark figures stepped out. Armed fast, the chase had begun. They ran through broken tunnels. Old metal halls echoing with footsteps. Ashwing moved slowly, dragging his tail. Lyra pulled him forward. We're almost there. They reached a metal door. Dotchex punched a code. The door opened. Inside was a ship, small, old, but ready. They all jumped inside. Jack started the engine. Lyra looked out the back. Figures were closing in. Then Ashwing turned around. He growled, and from his mouth, a wave of fire burst out. The hallway lit up. The hunters fell back, screaming. Jax launched the ship. They rose into the sky. The moon shrank behind them. Lyra sat down. Shaking, Ashwing curled beside her. Jox flew quietly for a while. Then he spoke. We can't hide any more. Lyra nodded. We find the vault. Ashwing opened his eyes. His voice was soft. I know the way. Lyra looked at the stars outside the window. The hunt was on, but so was the quest, and she was ready. Whatever came next, the stars outside the ship looked cold and endless. Lyra sat near Ashwing, her hand resting gently on his side. His breathing had steadied. His fire had returned. Little by little, but Lyra's thoughts were burning. She stared at the old ring on her finger. It had belonged to her mother. She never thought it was special, just a piece of metal. But now it glowed very faintly every time Ashwing was near. It pulsed with the same golden light that came from his chest. Lyra held it up to her face. Was this always more than just a ring? She whispered. Ashwing opened one eye. That ring is not just metal, it is a key. A key to what? And to the vault. Lyra frowned. Me? Anything. Why didn't they? Ashwing's voice was low and deep. They were hiding, protecting you. Your bloodline was hunted. They feared what would happen if you awakened too soon. Lyra leaned back. She remembered something her mother once told her never to take the ring off, even when she bathed, even when she slept. She had obeyed without question until now. Now she questioned everything. Ashwing sat up slowly. His body was stronger. His wings stretched wider. But there was still pain in his eyes. Jox stood at the front of the ship, checking the scanners. We've got company, he said. Lyra rushed to him. Guild. No, Jox replied. Too small. Just one. Ship, probably a drifter. Lyra looked at the screen. It was an old vessel. No weapons detected. It didn't seem dangerous, but something about it felt wrong. Then the comms clicked. A voice came through. Soft, familiar, double quotes, Lyra. Is that you? Lyra froze. Her hands trembled. Knew that voice. Ben, she whispered. The voice laughed gently. You remember? Lyra's heart pounded. Ben, my brother. You're alive. Jox turned sharply. You have a brother. Lyra nodded slowly. He disappeared 5 years ago. We thought he died, Ashwin growled. There is danger in his voice. Lyra ignored. The warning put him through. She said, Jax pressed a button. A small screen lit up. A young man appeared, dark hair, green eyes, a scar across his cheek. He smiled. I missed you, Lyra. Tears formed in her eyes. I thought you were gone. Ben nodded. They took me. The guild. They trained me, controlled me. But I escaped. Lyra leaned forward. Are you alone? Ben hesitated. Yes, just me. Ashwing stepped closer to the screen. His eyes narrowed. You lie. Ben's smile faded. Then he looked directly into the camera. Ah, he said. You have one. A dragon. Lyra stepped back. What? Ben's face changed. Cold. Now empty. I didn't think you'd awaken. Not this fast, Jox shouted. It's a trap. Pull away. But it was too late. A second ship uncloaked behind them. Bigger, armed, fast. The guild missiles, locked on Jack, slammed the controls. The ship twisted hard. One missile missed. The second hit explosion. Fire in the rear chamber. Alarms. Blared Ashwing. Roared Lyra. Grabbed the fire suppressor and ran. Smoke filled the hallway. She sprayed foam over the burning wires. JAX struggled to keep the ship steady. We're losing control. Lyra ran to the cockpit. We can't outrun them. Ashwing climbed in behind. His voice shook the walls. Let me fight. No, Lyra said. You're not strong enough. I must. Ashwing growled. If I die now, you live. Lyra shook her head. We stay together. Jox looked up. There's a storm field on that planet. He pointed to a red planet. Nearby magnetic waves, heavy cloud cover, they can't track us through it. Lyra nodded. Take us in. The ship dove toward the planet. Lightning flashed in the sky, winds howled, the engines screamed as they entered the atmosphere. The Guild ship followed. Firing again, the ship rocked violently. Metal creaked panels. Broke, but they made it. The storm swallowed them. Everything went. Dark, no signals, no tracking, just wind and thunder. They landed hard. The ship skidded across the surface and stopped. Silence only. The sound of heavy rain outside. JAX leaned back, breathing hard. That was close. Lyra stood up. We need to find cover. This ship won't fly again without repairs. They stepped outside into the storm. The wind hit their faces like knives. Ashwing followed, wings tight against his body. They saw a cave nearby. Dark, deep, safe. They ran inside. JAX set up a small light. Ashwing lay down at the back, tired again. Lyra sat next to him. Ben is with them, she said softly. Ashwing nodded. He was turned. Used. His heart was broken. Lyra felt pain rise in her chest. He was my brother. He still is, Ashwing said, but the Guild owns his mind. Jox joined them. That ship, it was a ghost class. They only used those for elite hunters. Lyra looked at the ring. On her finger, it glowed brighter now, even in the dark cave. She pulled it off. The light grew stronger, then it shot a beam. Onto the cave wall, symbols formed in the stone. Old writing, fire language. Ashwing's eyes widened. This is a cave. Jox stared at the wall. What does it say? Ashwing reads slowly. Blood will light the path. Only true flame may open the sky. Beware the brother, for he is not what he seems. Lyra stepped back. What does that mean? Ashwing looked at her with sadness. Your brother is more than a hunter. He is a key to something darker. Jox cursed under his breath. I knew it. The Guild's been planning this for years. They were looking for the vault and for someone who could open it. Lyra clenched her fists. Stop them. Ashwing stood, tall, strong, his wings spread wide. I feel the fire returning. The vault is calling. Can you take us there? Lyra asked. Ashwing nodded. Tomorrow, after I rest, the storm will pass. Then we fly. Lyra looked up at the sky through the cave. Rain poured, but the fire inside her heart burned hotter than ever. Her blood was awake. Her path was clear, and now she knew. The past was not dead. It was waiting, and she was ready to face it. The storm cleared the next morning. Dark clouds still hung low, but the thunder had stopped. Ashwing stepped out of the cave, wings stretched wide, eyes bright with glowing fire. He looked stronger, now taller, with sharp claws and fresh golden light shining between his scales. Lyra stood beside him, her ring glowing brighter than ever. She could feel warmth running through her arms. It pulsed with every beat of her heart. Jox adjusted the straps on his gear. We need to move fast. If the Guild scans this planet again, they'll find us. Lyra nodded. We can't risk using our broken ship. Ashwing will fly us. Jox hesitated. Staring at the massive dragon, I'm not sure I trust flying through space on a living furnace. Ashwing turned his head and narrowed his eyes. You are welcome to walk. Jox sighed. Fine, let's ride the fire beast. Lyra climbed onto Ashwing's back, settling between two long spines that had grown stronger overnight. Jox climbed up behind her, holding onto a metal handle attached to Lyra's belt. Ashwing spread his wings, then leaped into the air. The moment, his feet left the ground. Lyra felt a deep connection through her body. It was like her heart and Ashwing's heart were moving together. They soared through the sky, Rising above the last storm clouds, wind rushed past her ears. The stars appeared. Again, Ashwing flew faster than any ship she had ever piloted. He moved with grace, cutting through space like a blade of fire. Lyra closed her eyes. She saw flashes, visions, a mountain made of black glass, a door sealed with flame. "The vault, it's close," she whispered. Ashwing answered, "Yes, we are nearly there." They flew toward an ancient system, a place with no name, no light, and no traffic. Dead suns and broken moons surrounded, a red planet with cracks across its surface. Ashwing slowed down. "This is the Forbidden Planet." Jox leaned forward. "Looks like death." Ashwing landed gently in a crater surrounded by sharp, glowing rocks. The air smelled of ash and metal. They dismounted. Lyra's ring began to glow, brighter than ever. She held it up. A beam of light shot from the ring and pointed toward a mountain in the distance. Its top was flat and glowing with a dull red pulse. "That's it," Lyra said. "The flame vault." They started walking. Ashwing walked ahead, his claws cracking the burned ground beneath him. Every step echoed through the silence. There was no wind, no sound, just the sound of their boots and claws on rock. Jax looked around nervously. "This place is wrong. I can feel it." Ashwing growled low. It was sealed long ago, to keep what's inside from being taken. They reached the base of the mountain. Huge stone doors stood before them, covered in symbols. Lyra touched the ring to the surface. The door glowed. A voice echoed in the air, not spoken by any of them. Flamekeeper confirmed. "One soul may enter. One flame may pass." Jox blinked. "What does that mean?" Ashwing turned to Lyra. "You must go alone." Lyra stepped back. "Why? Only you can enter," Ashwing said. "It is your blood, your trial. But what about you?" "I will—" "Wait." Lyra looked at Jox. He gave a short nod. "I'll stay with him. Just be careful." Lyra stepped forward. The doors opened slowly, with a deep rumble. Heat poured out from the crack. She stepped inside. The moment she entered, the door closed behind her. Darkness, then firelight lit the walls. Symbols danced across the stone. Alive. The hallway led down, spiraling deep into the mountain. She walked slowly, heart pounding. The air was hot, but not burning. It felt familiar, like the fire inside her. Blood. She reached a chamber, huge, circular. Circular in the center was a pedestal. Floating above it was a small golden flame. It didn't move like normal fire. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Lyra stepped closer. The flame whispered, not in words, but in feelings. She felt memories, pain, loss, courage, hope. And then a voice filled the room. Not loud, not soft, just truth. "You carry the blood of the Flamekeeper. You have passed the test of protection, courage, and choice. But now, you must face the final question." A wall opened, and standing there Ben, her brother. His eyes burned red, his face twisted in anger and confusion. "Lyra," he said, "it's you." "I knew it." She stepped back. "What are you doing here?" "I followed you," he said. "I was chosen too. I carried the other half." He raised his hand. A ring glowed on his finger, twisted dark, pulsing with red flame. "Guild made me strong," Ben said. "They showed me the truth." Lyra looked at the golden flame, then back at him. "They used you." "No," Ben growled. "They saved me. We don't need dragons. We don't need legends. We need control." "You want to take the flame," Lyra said. "I want to reshape the galaxy. You'll destroy it." Ben stepped closer. "We can do it together, just like when we were kids." Lyra held up her hand. "No, I won't let you take it." Ben's eyes burned. "Then you will fall." He raised his hand. A wave of red flame shot toward her. She rolled to the side. The wall exploded. She raised her ring and shouted an old dragon word, Zarath. A golden shield formed around her. Ben kept coming. Fire met fire, red against gold. Brother against sister. The mountain shook. Stone cracked. Flames danced across the ceiling. Lyra reached. Deep inside, she felt her blood respond, not with hate, not with anger, but with purpose. With fire meant to protect, not to rule. She shouted again, Zethantar. The golden flame on the pedestal shot into her chest. Her eyes lit up. Her hands burned with gold light. Ben hesitated. "What are you?" "I am Flamekeeper," she said, "and you are lost." She held out her hand. Ben screamed as golden fire wrapped around him, not burning, binding. His body froze. The red ring cracked, then shattered. Ben fell to his knees. The darkness left his eyes. He looked up at her. "Lyra, I'm sorry." She ran to him, held him. "It's okay, you're back now." He nodded weak. "I didn't see. I didn't understand. The guild lied." "I know," she said. The mountain calmed. The chamber grew quiet. She looked back at the pedestal. It was empty now. The flame lived inside. Her, she had passed the trial. The door opened again. Ashwing and Jox waited outside. Lyra helped Ben walk out. Ashwing's eyes widened. Lyra nodded. "He is free." Jox blinked. "Well, that's something I didn't expect." Ashwing stepped forward. "You carry the flame now. You are its guardian." Lyra looked up at the stars. "I won't let them take it," Jox asked. "What?" Now Lyra's eyes narrowed. "We end this. We take the fight to them." Ashwing nodded. "The fire has returned." The stars above shimmered. The war was not over, but the flame had chosen its keeper, and she would burn through the darkness. The stars looked calm, but war was coming. Lyra stood at the edge of the mountain, the golden flame still burning quietly inside her chest. Ashwing sat behind her, wings folded, eyes watching the sky. Jox cleaned his weapon, nervous energy shaking his hands. Ben rested under a stone arch, weak but awake. His body still carried marks of the red fire. No one spoke. The silence was heavy. Lyra finally turned. "We can't wait any more." Ashwing nodded slowly. "The guild will come." Jox stood up. "Then let's hit them first." Lyra looked at Ben. "Can you fight?" He forced a smile. "Not yet, but I can help." Ashwing stretched his wings. "I know a place. A system hidden in shadows. The old Flame Guard built it as a last stand base." Lyra's eyes lit up. "Can we reach it before they find us?" "If we fly now," Ashwing said. "It's risky. We've done worse," Jock said. They climbed onto Ashwing's back again. The skies above the Forbidden planet darkened as they took off. Ashwing moved faster than before. He carried more. Power Nowlera's flame had awakened something in him. They flew through space, past dead moons and broken ships, until they entered a field of floating black rocks. It looked like a graveyard. Ashwing slowed down. "This is it." A massive ship appeared ahead, hidden inside an asteroid. It looked ancient, burned, but still alive. The Ember Citadel. "Ashwing," said, Lyra whispered. "It's beautiful." They landed inside a giant docking bay. As their feet hit the metal floor, lights turned on. Dot systems woke up. A voice echoed through the halls. "Flame signature confirmed." "Welcome, Keeper." Ben looked around in awe. This was all real. They walked through the main corridor. Rooms filled with old tech, weapons, armor, and even dragon eggs in glass tubes. Ashwing touched one of the walls. "The last of our kind slept here." Lyra placed her hand on a control panel. It lit up. A hologram appeared, a map of the galaxy. Red zones marked guild territory. Blue lights showed resistance cells, small, hidden, weak. Jox stared at the map. "They've taken everything." "Not everything," Lyra said. She touched the center star. A golden flame appeared. "This is hope." Suddenly, alarms blared. "Incoming vessels. Guild signature detected." Jock shouted. "They found us," Ashwing roared. "Prepare the Citadel." Ben ran to a control station. "I can boost shields, but we need to stall them." Lyra grabbed a glowing staff from the weapon rack. It hummed in her hand. "I'll go outside. Ashwing, fly me to the command ship." Jox pulled his blaster. "I'm coming too." Ashwing bent low. "Hold on." They launched into space just as the first guild ships came out of hyperspace. The lead ship was massive black armor, glowing red engines. Ashwing dodged blasts of plasma and fire. Lyra aimed the staff and spoke a word. A golden beam shot out and hit a guild fighter. It exploded in silence. Jox fired from Ashwing's back, hitting another. They spun toward the command ship. Ashwing smashed through its shields and slammed onto the hull. Alarms screamed. Lyra cut through the outer door with her staff. They dropped into the command hall. Soldiers turned and fired. Ashwing roared, his breath burning through them like paper. Lyra ran forward. The guild commander waited on a raised platform. He wore black armor, and his eyes glowed red. "You should have died with the rest," he growled. "I bought a dragon," Lyra said. "Now I burn for something bigger." He drew a dark blade. "It's too late. The flame will die with you." They clashed sword against staff, dark fire against golden light. Jocks covered her back, blasting soldiers trying to enter. Ashwing took on a massive warbot tripping its arms. Apart with his teeth, Lyra and the commander fought fiercely. He was fast, skilled, but she was chosen. Every movement felt right like the flame inside her guided. Her hands, the commander swung hard. She blocked, he kicked her down. She rolled and screamed, "Flareth un—" A wave of fire exploded from her chest and knocked him back. He hit the wall and groaned. She walked up to him, staff glowing. "Your fire burns for control. Mine burns to protect." He spat blood. "You're just a child." She raised the staff. "No, I'm a keeper." With one final strike, she hit his chest. Golden flame burst through his body. His armor cracked. He screamed, and then turned to ash. Silenced JAX helped her stand. "We have to get back. More ships are coming." Ashwing opened the roof. They flew back through space, leaving the destroyed command ship behind. The Citadel was under heavy attack. Ben had powered up ancient cannons on the roof. They fired golden beams into the sky, destroying guild ships one by one as Lyra landed. He grinned weakly. "Glad you made it." She nodded. "Now we fight together." Ashwing roared loud enough for the stars to tremble. "All dragons, all flamekeepers, rise." Suddenly, the tubes holding dragon eggs began to glow. One by one, they cracked open. Small dragons stepped out, eyes glowing, hearts burning. The flame had returned. Lyra looked out the window as the last guild cruiser turned. And fled, she turned to Ashwing. "It's just the beginning, isn't it?" Ashwing nodded. Double quotes, "Yes, the fire war has started." Lyra didn't smile, but her eyes burned. Bright dot. She was ready, they all were. The galaxy had forgotten the power of dragons. It was time to remind them. The Ember Citadel was alive. Old machines woke, dot lights burned brighter, and dragon eggs kept hatching every hour. More young dragons stepped out, blinking in the warm golden glow. They looked at Lyra with deep respect. Not fear, not confusion, just trust. Ashwing guided them. He showed them how to stretch their wings, how to breathe safely, how to feel the fire inside without losing control. Ben watched from the control deck, his body still weak, but his mind sharp. He kept track of guild movement across nearby systems. "They're retreating," he told Lyra. "One morning, but not for long." Lyra stood in the command chamber, staring at the star map. Her staff leaned beside her. JX entered, a worried look on his face. "We have a problem," he said. "What now?" she asked. JAX showed her a glowing cube. "This was found near the dragon egg room. It doesn't belong here." Ashwing sniffed the cube, his eyes narrowed. Guild Tech Ben looked confused. "How did they get it in here?" Jocks looked around. Carefully, "There's only one answer." Lyra finished the sentence for him. "We have a traitor." Everyone froze. Even the youngest dragon stopped. Moving silence filled the Citadel. Lyra picked up the cube. It was smooth, cold, humming quietly. She pressed a symbol. A hologram appeared. A man in guild armor. He spoke in a low voice. "The girl thinks she controls the flame. Let her, soon she'll lead them all into the trap." Then the message ended. Lyra's hand tightened around the cube. "We need to search everyone," she said. JAX nodded. "I'll start now," Ashwing growled softly. "This place is sacred. A traitor here is dangerous." They split up. Everyone inside the Ember Citadel was scanned, tested, watched, but no one confessed. No one ran, not until later that night. A loud explosion echoed from the east wing. Alarms rang. Lyra ran toward the noise with her staff glowing. She found 2 dragons wounded and 1 human running down the hall. It was Rena, a girl from a nearby resistance group, who had joined them a few days ago. She looked terrified, but not guilty. When she saw Lyra, she screamed, "I didn't do it, I swear." Jox caught up from behind and tackled her. They dragged her to the chamber. Ben started scanning her. With the Citadel system, a light beeped red. "She has guild tech in her belt," Ben said. Rena cried, "They forced me. They said they'd kill my family." Ashwing stepped forward, eyes burning. "You brought poison into this place." "I didn't want to," she shouted. "I was trying to disable the beacon, not hurt the dragons." Lyra believed her, but trust was broken. She looked at Rena. "Why now? Why attack this soon?" Rena's eyes were filled with fear. "They're scared. You killed their general. They know you're building an army. They want to destroy the Citadel. Before you can leave," Lyra took a deep breath. "Then we leave now." Ben stared at her. "We're not ready. We'll never be," Lyra said. "But we have to strike first." Ashwing stepped closer. "We will take the young ones. But only those strong enough to fly." Rena looked up. "Let me help, please. Let me make this right." Jox didn't trust her. But Lyra saw something else. Regret, pain, maybe even courage. She nodded. "You'll fly with us. But if you betray us again, it ends." Rena nodded quickly. "I understand." That night, the Ember Citadel opened for the first time in 1,000 years. A golden gate slid open from the mountainside. Dozens of dragons, small, fast, glowing, lined up beside Ashwing. Lyra walked out with the Flame Guard armor, a symbol burned across her chest. Jox stood beside her, weapons ready. Ben stayed behind. Someone had to guard the Citadel and lead the next wave. If this one failed, Lyra turned to him before she left. "If we don't return, you will," Ben said. "The fire chose you." Ashwing roared. Wings spreading, the dragons launched into the stars. It was not a big fleet, but it was powerful. The sky lit up with flame trails. The first attack target, Crimson Fortress, a guild fuel base hidden on a cold moon, Rena guided them. Through a weak spot in its defenses, they crashed through the outer wall. Guild soldiers shouted in panic. They weren't expecting dragons. They had no defense for them. Ashwing tore through a guard tower. The younger dragons flew low, breathing short bursts of flame. Lyra landed in the middle of the fortress and drove her staff into the ground. Flame burst out in a circle. Weapons melted. Soldiers fell back. Jox and Rena led ground teams of the rebels who had been hiding, waiting for the right moment to fight. It was chaos, but it was beautiful. Within minutes, the base was under their control. They found a control chamber and shut off all guild signals. Lyra stood in the command center. Her staff now pulsed brighter than before. Rena leaned against a wall, bleeding but alive. "You could have killed me back at the Citadel," she said. "You didn't run tonight," Lyra replied. "That counts." Ashwing landed beside them. "The base is ours." Jox grinned. "For now?" Lyra looked at the stars beyond the window. "We need more." Ashwing nodded. "There are still other citadels, other eggs, other dragons, scattered, sleeping, hiding. Then we find them," she said. "Before the guild does." Suddenly, the screen in front of them blinked an emergency signal from Ben. Lyra touched the screen. His face appeared, pale and tense. "They're here." Lyra's heart dropped. "The guild?" Ben nodded. "A massive fleet they're moving toward the Ember Citadel." Lyra turned to the others. "Set a course. Full speed." "We just got here," Jox said. "If we don't go now, there will be nothing left to return to." Lyra replied. Ashwing crouched low. "We fly." The dragons lifted off once more. No rest, no delay. The flame didn't wait as they flew through the stars. Lyra whispered to herself. "I bought a dying dragon, and now I lead an army." Ashwing heard her. "You brought back the fire." Ahead, the Citadel glowed, and behind it, shadows approached. The next battle had begun, and this time, it would decide everything. The Ember Citadel was under attack. Ben stood at the heart of the ancient mountain, surrounded by glowing walls and sleeping dragon eggs. Outside, the sky turned red. The guild fleet arrived like a storm. Dozens of warships, hundreds of fighters. Their engines screamed through the dark, closing in fast. Ben activated the Citadel's defense grid. Walls thickened, shields powered. Up, old turrets on the mountain's edges woke from centuries of silence. Still, it wouldn't be enough. He looked at the eggs. They glowed gently. Too young, too fragile. He couldn't wake them early, but if the guild reached them. Ben swallowed hard. He opened the emergency channel. Lyra, they're almost here. Her voice came through heavy static. We're close. Just hold them back a little longer. I'll try. Then the signal broke. The citadel shook. The first Guild missile hit the outer barrier. Ash flew. Dust filled the halls. Ben ran to the control chamber. Screens flashed. Red. A voice spoke from one of the ships, echoing into the citadel. This is Commander Vreek. Surrender now, and we will leave the mountain intact. Resist, and we will reduce it to ash. Ben stared at the speaker. I've heard of you, he said quietly. You're the one who slaughtered the dragons of Kezar, the voice laughed. Dragons are myths, and you'll join them. Then silence. The next wave of attacks began. The shields held barely Ben. Ben whispered to the citadel. Come on, you've survived worse. Down below, something shifted. The dragon eggs glowed brighter. Some cracked, not fully hatched, but aware. Awake, Ben smiled. Then he turned to the weapons system. He wasn't a fighter, but he knew this place, and the citadel was more than stone. It had secrets. He opened a sealed vault deep inside the mountain. Inside were 3 ancient machines, hovering cannons powered by flame cores. They hadn't been used in 800 years. Ben didn't know if they would work, but he activated all 3. The mountain shook. Again, but this time with purpose. Outside, the cannons lifted and fired. The sky exploded with fire and gold light. 2 guild fighters were hit instantly. Vreek's ship dodged. The next shot and moved closer then. A shadow fell across the stars. Ashwing arrived roaring like thunder. Dragons followed behind. Him 20 strong. Lyra stood on Ashwing's back, eyes glowing with firelight. She saw the guild ships and pointed forward. Take them down. The dragons split into wings. Some flew high, others dove low. They attacked from all angles. Fire burst across the sky. Lyra leaped from Ashwing onto the guild's second cruiser. She slammed her staff into the hull. The ship began to melt. Soldiers inside panicked. She kicked the door open and charged in. Jox and Rena landed nearby, leading rebel squads through the chaos. Ashwing targeted Vreeki's command ship, but Vreek was ready. He activated the anti-dragon beam, a blue arc of energy that wrapped around Ashwing's wings. Ashwing roared in pain. Lyra felt it. She turned toward them. Ashwing was falling. Lyra ran across the burning deck, jumped, caught a wing, then climbed the beam burned bright. She reached the emitter tower on the enemy ship and stabbed it with her staff. It shattered. Ashwing broke free, breathing fire in a spiral. The guild ship caught flame. Vreek's voice rang out again. You think fire will stop us? He activated another weapon, a dark pulse. It hit the mountain. The citadel trembled. Ben fell to his knees. Something broke deep inside the structure. The dragon eggs started shaking. Ben shouted, No, it's too early. The eggs glowed. Some cracked. Open fully, 3 young dragons stepped out. They were not ready, but they looked at Ben, then ran to the tunnel. They wanted to fight. Ben opened the gate. Go, he said. Protect your kind. They leaped into the air and joined the battle. Ashwing saw them. He dipped in flight and flew beside them. Guiding them, Lyra entered Vreek's ship alone. Smoke filled the halls. Soldiers tried to stop her. She burned through them with clean, sharp bursts of flame. She reached the bridge. Vreek stood at the center, tall, wearing armor made from dragon bone. He turned. You're the girl who bought a dragon. Lyra raised her staff. And you're the man who kills them. They fought. Sparks flew, staff against blade, fire against shadow. Vreek was strong, trained, deadly. But Lyra had something more. The flame chose her. Her staff glowed white-hot. She struck. His chest. His armor cracked. He fell to one knee. I could have ended the dragons, he growled. You tried, Lyra said, but you didn't understand them. He lunged again. She dodged, then drove the staff into the floor. The command room burst into fire. The ship began to fall. Lyra climbed to the top deck. Ashwing caught her. They flew away as the flagship exploded. Behind them, Ben's voice came through the cum. The fleet is retreating. Jox whooped with joy. Dragons roared in victory. The sky cleared. Smoke faded. The stars returned. Lyra landed outside the citadel. Her armor was burned. her face covered in ash, but she was alive. Ben limped out to meet her. "You did it." "No?" Lyra said. "We did." Rena helped the wounded back inside. Ashwing curled around the eggs, protecting them, and above them all, the Ember Citadel glowed with warm golden fire. The sky was calm now, but inside the Ember Citadel, something was not right. Ben walked through the lower halls. The walls were warm to warm. He touched the stone. It pulsed under his hand, like a heartbeat. He looked up. A symbol was glowing again. The same symbol that appeared on Ashwing's chest the first night Lyra bought. Ben stepped back. The pulse grew stronger then. The wall cracked. A hidden chamber opened. He froze. Inside was a circular room, filled with FIRELIGHT. In the center was a flame dash, floating, not burning anything, just alive. Ben stepped closer. The flame turned blue for a second, then red again. Was watching him. He whispered, "What are you?" A voice answered not out loud, but inside his head. "You carry the key, but you are not the flame bearer." Ben backed away. He didn't understand. Suddenly, Lyra arrived. She looked tired. Her armor still cracked from the battle. Ben pointed to the room. It just opened. Lyra stepped forward. As soon as she entered, the flame grew brighter. It rose. Higher then, split into 3 smaller flames. They circled her. Ben stared in shock. The flame spoke again, this time aloud, a deep, ancient voice. "You chose the broken. You gave life to death. The flame remembers." Lyra didn't move. The fire didn't burn her. Instead, it wrapped around her shoulders like a cloak. Ben stepped forward. "What is this place?" The flame responded. "This is the heart of Ember, the source of all dragons. When the first dragon died, it left behind its fire. That fire became this." Lyra whispered, "Why now? Why show this to me?" "Because you were the first to choose love over power. The guild took, you gave. The flame has chosen you." Ben blinked. "Chosen for what?" "The war is not over." The flame dimmed, and in the center of the chamber, a vision appeared. Not a hologram, but like a living memory. A vast, dark void. Planets burning, an army of machines, cold, silent, endless, thousands of ships, black metal, no life inside them. The guild was nothing compared to this. Lyra watched with wide eyes. "What is that?" "They are the Voidborn. They are coming." The guild only woke them. Ben felt sick. All this was just the beginning. Yes, the real war has not yet begun. The flame pulled back into its center, then it dimmed to a soft glow. Lyra, she looked, changed, not older, but stronger, quieter. "Tomar," she said. Ben nodded slowly. "I'll start repairing the outer walls. Rena and Jox can help." The dragons. He turned and saw Ashwing at the entrance. Ashwing was watching the flame too, and for the first time, he bowed his head. He understood. He remembered. Walked out of the chamber. The fire faded behind her. Ashwing followed silently. Outside, the dragons were resting. Some were flying above the clouds, scouting. Others guarded the eggs. Rena and Jox were organizing survivors into teams. Everyone worked. Everyone knew something was coming, but no one said it, not yet. Ben returned to the workshop. He found an old data disk hidden in one of the vaults. He activated it. A voice came out. "Old, dry, tired. This is Keeper Marin, last of the Flame Guard. If you are hearing this, then the Ember has awakened." Ben leaned closer. "I failed to stop them. The guild breached our lines, but the true threat was never them." He saw images appear. Maps, signals, codes. The Voidborn do not want land or gold. They eat memory. They erase stories. They destroy hope. Ben blinked. He whispered, "They destroy memory?" The voice continued. "They came once before. The dragons stopped them, but we paid with everything. Now they return. The flame must not die again." The message ended. Ben sat in silence then. He stood and ran to Lyra. He found her with Ashwing. She was feeding the youngest dragon, Emberling. "Lyra, you need to hear this." He played the message. When it ended, Lyra looked at Ashwing. He growled low. He remembered the Voidborn too. She stood up. "Then we need allies." Ben nodded. "But who?" She looked to the stars. there are still dragon clans on the outer moons. The guild never reached them. And humans, Lyra thought, there's a resistance group in the Dead Rings. They've been hiding for years. Ben frowned. It'll take time. Lyra looked at him. We don't have time, but we have something better. He raised a brow. What? She smiled. Hope. That night, they sent out signals, old codes, ancient language. Only the dragons remembered. One by one, replies came. First from the Iceback clan, then the Stormwings, even the exiled Nightflame. Dragons responded, and from far beyond the charted systems, a single human message came. We saw your fire. We are coming. The citadel buzzed with energy. Dragons flew in from all sides. Survivors arrived in old ships, and above them all, the sky shimmered with light. Ben looked up. Lyra stood beside him. Ash perched behind them like a living statue, and in her hand, the small ember she carried glowed brighter than ever. The flame was rising, and the stars were watching. The sky over the ember citadel turned red, not from fire, but from ships, thousands of them, shadow, shapes blocking the stars. They had arrived, the Voidborn, silent, cold, endless. Their ships made no sound, no signals, no warnings, just stillness. Lyra stood at the top of the ember wall, Ashwing beside her, the dragons behind her. Ben, Rena, and Jox waited two below. Thousands of people stood ready. Some had weapons, some had nothing, but no one ran. Not this time. Ben looked up. They're not attacking. Rena whispered, maybe they're waiting. No, Lyra said, they're watching. She closed her eyes, and the flame in her hand pulsed once, twice, the same pulse Ben had felt in the chamber. Ashwing looked up. He roared. The sound cracked the clouds. Dragons all around the citadel answered the call. One by one, they rose into the sky, not to attack, but to stand between the Voidborn and the world below. Then dashed light, the biggest Voidborn. Ship opened, and something fell. Not a bomb, not a missile, a being. A shape, metal, but alive. It floated down and landed in front of the citadel. Gates. No one moved. It didn't speak, didn't blink, just stood, waiting. Lyra walked forward. Alone, the others started to stop her, but Ashwing growled low. Let her go. She stepped past the gates and stood before the creature. She looked up. It had no eyes, just smooth, black armor. She held up the ember flame, and finally it moved. Its head tilted. Then, a voice. No sound came from its mouth, but everyone heard it. You carried the first flame. Lyra nodded. Yes, it does not belong to you. She spoke clearly. It didn't belong to the guild either. They tried to use it. I protected it. The creature paused. You are not like them. No, she said. I'm human, but I chose to heal, not destroy. The creature turned its head, looked toward the dragons in the sky. The fire remembers. Then its body split, not into pieces, but like it opened inside. Another shape, not metal, not machine. A small, flickering light, the same blue fire from the ember chamber. Lyra gasped. Ben shouted, What is that? The voice answered, This is the last spark. We took it long ago. We needed it to survive. Lyra whispered, You stole dragonfire. We are not enemies. We were dying. Your kind hunted us, burned our stars, took our names. Lyra stared. I didn't know. You were not born yet, but the flame remembers all. It remembers pain and mercy. Lyra stepped forward. She held up her ember, and the two flames pulsed in rhythm. Then slowly, the Voidborn being knelt, Will you share it? Silence fell. Ben's voice broke the quiet. Share. With them? Lyra nodded, double quotes. Yes. If we take the path of fire again, we all die. She looked around to survive. We need to light each other's darkness. The flame in her hand stretched, so did the one inside the Voidborn. They touched, merged, and a wave of warmth passed through the air. The sky turned gold above. The other Voidborn ships backed away, faded, vanished, not, in retreat, in peace, they were leaving. The war was over, and it had never begun. Ashwing landed. Beside Lyra, he looked at the empty armor. The creature was gone, but the blue flame stayed. Lyra picked it up. It didn't burn her. It danced, like it was happy. Ben ran forward. Did we just win? Lyra smiled. No, we just didn't lose. Jocks laughed. I'll take it. The days that followed were full of rebuilding, but also peace. For the first time in centuries, dragons and humans worked together. The Voidborn sent knowledge, power, and memory, returning what they had taken. The guild, gone. The Ember Citadel stood stronger than ever, and in the center of it, Lyra built a new chamber, not just for flame, but for hope. Anyone could visit, anyone could speak, and the flame would listen. Sometimes it glowed, sometimes it danced, and sometimes it whispered old songs in lost languages. Ashwing grew older, but never left Lyra's side. Ben traveled to other systems, teaching the story. Rena became the voice of the new alliance. JX became a dragon rider, the first human one, and Lyra, she stayed. In the Citadel, she didn't call herself queen or savior, just keeper. The girl who bought a dying dragon for 1 credit and gave the galaxy its future back. The end.